Good morning, everybody. It's 10 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Appreciate everybody coming. I know there's not a lot of people here, but we're all here, and I do appreciate your time. It is valuable. First order of business is we have to approve the minutes from our last meeting, so I'll take a motion to approve those minutes.
Motion.
I'll second. Okay. So all in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll move forward. Thank you. Those minutes have been approved. The first order of business will be covered by Chief Arnold. He's going to update everyone on the current status of the Clay County Detention Facility.
Good morning. The Clay County Jail's average daily population the first quarter was 413 inmates. As of today, we're sitting at 88% of our max capacity. We're at 431. 387 of those inmates are in for felony charges and 44 for misdemeanor charges.
Any questions? Reference the inmate population or where we're at right now? So we are, what's our max capacity? 492, Chief?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No questions on that. We'll move forward. Sydney Tollick, if you can come up because you have to speak in the microphone. Give everybody an update on the mental health status of our inmates within the facility, please.
Okay, can everybody hear me okay? All right, I'm Sydney Tollick, the counselor at the Clay County Jail. So recently in mental health, we've seen, last time I ran the numbers, it was 431 with the total population of inmates. 81 of those inmates are receiving psychotropic meds and 135 are receiving counseling. So there's actually more inmates coming out for counseling and mental health treatment that are receiving meds, which is a good sign. I've got 2 psychoeducational groups running right now, and they're also a process group. The first one is the trauma group for the females, and the second one is an anxiety group for the males. There's been pretty high participation. We've had about 30 inmates in each category come out and share and speak. There's been about 1/4 of the population of the males being treated and about 80% of the population of females being treated. Usually the males tend to refuse a lot more, so I've been going around to all of the dorms to make sure that they're doing okay and do like weekly checks on them. And then of course confinement, we've got a couple people on mental health observation. They get checked on about once a week and make sure that they're on their right meds and that they're stable.
Very good. So with that, have you seen an increase? It seems like we've had somewhat of an increase in mental health inmates.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in the last 28 days, there's been like a 19% increase in just counseling, 76% increase in participation in groups. There's actually been a probably 15% decrease in suicide watch. And even since last year, the numbers have gone up at least 40% since around the time that I first started to now.
Wow. So when they're in the facility, obviously you're giving them treatment and counseling. We also have a doctor that comes in periodically to provide some treatment. Is that still happening?
Yeah, usually the doctor will see the inmates as they come in on intake, and then within 2 weeks of him seeing them and they get prescribed psychotropic medication, then they get referred over to me. I usually see them in that 2-week period. And then sometimes they stay on the schedule and I try to follow up with them as much as possible. They get weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly treatment depending on their needs. Okay,
and then one last question, the transition from when they leave the facility. I know there's a lot of things you do with that. Can you kind of explain kind of how that works? So while they're in the facility, they're getting the proper treatment that they need for their mental illness, but once they're released, what's kind of the plan for them?
Yeah, I've actually had a lot of inmates come to me recently and ask to get in sober living houses. I have a contact with one in Fernandina Beach I've managed to get a couple of people into. They also ask for regular counselors, so I'll give them a referral of some people in the area. There's a website called psychologytoday.com where they can sort it through their insurance and their zip code. So that way that they have more of an access to finding a counselor in case, say I give them a list of 5 people. Not all the time are those people going to have openings. So by using the website, they can see like everybody in Fleming Island, Middleburg, Green Cove, wherever it's at.
Perfect. And then, you know, using insurance and whatnot to help with the cost, I guess, of seeing that, to where kind of take that barrier down for them. So.
Yeah, then I sort through the ones that are Medicaid and help them try to find a Medicaid provider, or if they don't have any insurance at all, I've got a list of counselors in the area that run facilities that do sliding scale based on their income.
Nice. Good. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Tollett? Reference mental health in the facility? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up will be Patty Atkinson to speak on reentry. It's an important part of what we're kind of in the process of doing, and she's got all the gory details, but the program is to, you know, get our inmates and the inmate population back out into society being productive. So that's really a front line item for us, so I won't take Patty's thunder, but go ahead, Patty.
No, that's okay. Good morning, everyone. Currently, I'm really excited about this. I'm currently working to get the inmates into a CDL class to help them get their CDL license. I met with Keith Kirby at North Florida Technical College. The next class is going to be beginning, August 11th. So far, I have identified 2 inmates that would qualify for the program based on what their crimes are. And one is a female and one is a male, so I'm excited about the female. I'm also working with CareerSource. They'll be providing funding for them to be going to school. It's kind of like a student loan. The inmates will be paying back through their pay once that they're employed, and Career Services will be helping them find a position, which really won't be hard because there's a big need for people with CDL license. They plan on running the program the same way that we ran the furlough program. For those inmates that are still incarcerated, they'll be wearing a GPS and going to the school. I just need the blessing of someone that they can leave the county to attend school. Also currently working with Clay Behavioral right now. We're working on a grant for a substance abuse dorm for the males and females in the facility. We will have peer support specialists. We'll have a substance abuse counselor that will work there, and there'll be programs specific to their addiction. Also looking at a new program, a graphic design program, where the inmates will be taught how to make designs. We're hoping that we'll be able to put the skins on the police cars, the marked police cars, so we're looking into that.
Yeah.
And I previously met with St. John's River College about a manufacturing program, and I'm kind of working at the kinks right now because the problem before was having the equipment brought to the facility because of safety concerns. We really couldn't do that. So I'm working with my lieutenant right now, Lieutenant Harwood, to maybe perhaps do the schoolwork in the facility and then have them over to the college to do the hands-on and have a security person stay with them. And I'm also going to start working with the kitchen to provide a safe staff manager certification.
Wow, so a lot going on. That's awesome. And that just for the group is, you know, we're not just housing inmates just to keep them until they move on. And that's the programs unit is critical to the operation, and obviously working with the judges to get some things done, Clay Behavioral to get those things. And those are good things because our goal is to make them better while they're here and get them out and be better to where they don't come back, you know, and you know, sometimes they just need a little help doing that. And for the sake of the group too, is a lot of this is volunteer basis, but it takes Miss Patty and her team to really kind of beat the streets within the jail to get that volunteer group, you know, a base, you know, because I want to see 100, you know, doing it, but they've got to want to do it. So we can't snatch them up and say you're doing it. So credit to you and your group, and Operation New Hope. I know we're kind of working with them in Vineyard moving forward. They're not in the facility, correct, at this time?
That is correct. I do have, they're called Second Op, and what they do is they have a re-entry program where they teach the inmates about writing resumes, you know, communication, how to, you know, talk about what you've done in the past, why you haven't been working for the last 3 years. So I've been having them come in, and I'm actually thinking about having my staff trained on that program, so I won't have to pay someone to come in to do that program.
Perfect. Great. Good stuff, Patty. Thanks for what you and your team are doing. Anybody have any questions, Judge?
Sure. So what can we do more than what we're already doing? I say we, the court system, like Mr. Simpson and I are seeing these defendants when they first come in, at first appearance, through the end of their case.
Right. Just having your support is really what we really need, and we'd love to have your support as far as the substance abuse dorm. And as far as Mr. Simpson, just being able to have that communication, because inmates will always tell me, hey, I'm getting out on this date, and and they're asking for things, asking for help, like with sober living housing or transportation, and we all know that they tend to maybe exaggerate about when the release date is. So just having a little bit more communication with the public defender's office. But Your Honor, having your blessing is really what I would like to have.
Right. I share his view. We need to give these inmates a place to go and some hope to be rehabilitated so they don't come back. We've got enough coming in as it is, so we can cut down on the repeat visitors. That would be great.
Absolutely, yeah, good deal. Anybody else have anything for Patty? Anybody? All right, thank you very much, Patty.
Thank you.
And our final agenda topic is we're looking at, we're in the stages of expanding some growth within the facility of the jail. So Chief Arnold's got some information to share, and it's good news. And then once he's done with that, I'll kind of segue into, kind of follow up what he's talking about and give you some numbers.
So in the coming weeks, the county's going to be going out for RFP on our expansion. We have 2 areas identified to increase our inmate population space. Total of 94 additional beds, a single 24-man dorm and a second 70-man dorm. That'll take our total population, max population, up to 586. So giving us some additional space.
Question for you on that, Chief. So if with the increase, we can't predict the future. We try to. There's studies that go on. Obviously, in the community with the population growth that's coming into Clay County, from an inmate population standpoint, where would we be at? What's it going to take for us to get to max capacity, adding those 94 beds? Do you have that info?
Our goal is to usually stay around the 80% mark. Right now, as of today, we're at 88%. With the increased beds, that would take our 80% mark to around 468 inmates. So give us a few.
It's kind of a Band-Aid, right? So thank you, I appreciate it. The big thing is one of the things that this council for sure is to always keep in mind and, look at the jail population. And one thing that we're going to continue to talk about is the potential for a new facility at some point. We're putting Band-Aids on the current facility, and I give the chiefs a lot of credit and the teams for keeping things up and running, and the county for doing that as well. But at some point, we're going to have to grow. The last thing we want to do is just burst at the seams, and now we don't have room for the inmates. And a lot of counties some of the bigger counties right now are using a lot of other ideas to, put on GPS monitoring devices and things of that nature to keep their population manageable. So we don't ever want to get to that point to where it's unmanageable, because staffing levels are always an issue and a concern. And to properly care and take care of these inmates, we need proper staff and space to do that. So just for the sake of the group, one thing that I'm going to continue to keep kind of it's right now a little bit, it's on the stove, but kind of towards the back burner, is the talks of a new facility at some point somewhere within Clay County. Where that is, we don't know. We have to get some land, and we're hoping at some point to start building from the ground up. So within the next several years, I would think we're going to need to do that and kind of get really serious about it. But right now, me and my team and the sheriff, we're working on some preliminary talks with folks, and obviously with the county, and seeing if there's some land available and if it's good land to use, with proper septic and water and all that other stuff. So appreciate that, Chief. So with that being said, that's the last item on our agenda. At this time, anybody have any questions, concerns on the growth of the facility? I'm sorry. Mr. Simpson.
Well, two of the ones,
Microphone.
just with our office, the public affairs
Microphone.
office.
Your mic.
Two of the concerns with our office was just in the expansion, hopefully having a more private area for the Polycom. Right now, it's in sort of the vestibule where people come in and out, so there's not a lot of privacy. So just a private area for the Polycoms, and then either additional space for attorney-client meetings, because sometimes we can't get in there because there's, a lawyer or two that's already up there, and then just maybe some fortifications or something, just so that there's a little bit more privacy, because you can hear pretty much anything
Yes, sir.
being said up there. So
That's a
those
great
those are
point.
the two main things.
Okay. Well, we'll look at that with the growth and see, see how that's built into there, but we will definitely do our best to accommodate that, for sure.
I'd second that too. One, I used to be in that position, Mr. Simpson, being a defense lawyer. But that's how they get their cases resolved, which helps the inmate population go down.
Right.
They can talk to them. So the easier you make that,
Okay. Makes
the-
perfect
the-
sense.
The system works more efficiently.
Okay.
If it's difficult to go see their clients, then they linger longer in the system.
Makes perfect sense. Yes, sir, and we will, we'll definitely look into that. Thank you. And this time I'll open up the floor to public comments if anybody has anything. Nobody? Anybody? Okay.
Do I have to go in there?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Come on up. And just state your name once you get up there, who you're with, please.
Gabrielle Gunn, Director of Community and Social Services with Clay County. A couple of questions. What is the current partnership with nonprofits in Clay County that are providing transitional housing for any type of person? Do you have any partnerships right now?
Miss Patty would have to answer that question. If you can come up there and stand with her, that's fine.
So right now, we do have,
Microphone.
right now, we do have some partnerships with Sober Living houses. I have with City Houses, but that's in Jacksonville. And also, and I'm sorry, I don't know Richard Preston's name of his houses, but we have a partnership with them. We also have a partnership with Recovery Road.
Okay, and then do you have any partnerships with veteran organizations?
I do not, only the Veteran Administration. I work with them. We have a dorm specific to the veterans, and I do work with the VA with them.
Okay. So currently in community services, we have the Veteran Services Department, and so I'm not sure if that is something that you want to explore for veterans, specifically for claims that can help with future costs. We'd like to explore that opportunity. There's also Operation Barnabas, who is providing services, I know in Hillsborough County, with their transitional operation. It would be great to keep it in Clay since they are locally based in Clay County. I'm more than welcome to connect, but it would be great to explore that opportunity.
Absolutely, and great ideas. And so I would say if you and Patty can link up, that's perfect, because Barnabas is a great program. Anything we can do for our veterans is perfect. So we want to do that. We want to establish that partnership. A lot of our transitional housing and stuff now is in Jacksonville, is in Duval, and with our group moving forward, we're looking. There's an opportunity a couple blocks away where we're going to be doing some stuff with Vineyard and whatnot.
Working on
So
that, yeah.
perfect. Yeah. So good. Absolutely. Thank you. Great questions. And if you and Patty can link up and discuss that, and then we can maybe discuss that at the next meeting and see where we're at with that.
I just want to add that Operation Barnabas does come into the facility, and they do provide peer support to our veterans. Okay.
Perfect.
Ms. Atkinson, I learned of a house yesterday talking with, I think, Deborah Troop. I think Barbara Davenport, is that one of the ones that you mentioned?
Yes, sir. She
Okay.
owns Recovery Road. She owns a
Recovery Road.
male and a female home.
All right, very good. Well, it sounded like a really well-run
Yeah,
facility.
the houses are very nice. I tend to go out and look at the houses before I send an inmate up there.
Right, yeah, and that's the difficult part is, some people don't don't want those houses around, right? Because they think, but those inmates are vetted before they go to those locations as well, and they have to, follow some strict guidelines to be able to go do that. So thank you, Patty, I appreciate it. Gabrielle, thanks for your comments, and we'll work together. We'll follow up on that next quarterly meeting, if that's okay. If you guys can work together and see where we're at with that. Thank you. Anybody else for public? Ma'am?
I have a question too. Should I come up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come on up.
It's actually for Sydney, so maybe she should come up too. I
Go ahead,
just
Sydney.
was curious about, you mentioned that the inmates see a doctor upon intake. Is that for everyone? Is everyone assessed for a mental health issue upon intake? Or?
Yes, everybody actually has.
Can you pull the microphone closer to you?
Everybody actually has basically a medical assessment when they come in. It's a 14-day medical assessment. So the nurse will go through and ask them all kinds of intake questions, and there's a section on there for mental health. If they answer yes to any of those questions, then they get referred to the doctor for medications.
Right, so you try to assess it upon intake. Great, that's good. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you state your name in
Yeah,
the microphone
sorry.
just for the sake of the group?
I'm Irene Toto with Clay Behavioral Health Center.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank you.
Anybody else, any other comments or questions for the board or the general group? Hearing none, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much.